Oh, I. My name is Beast, and hello and welcome back to Hotsumira. Sorry about the last 2 days. Like I was it was entirely justified for me to not record on Sunday because of the fucking power outage. Can't say the same for yesterday though. I just straight up did not feel like it. Honest to God, I don't quite feel like it today either. But I decided, you know what, fuck it. I can record for like an hour, maybe. Keep it short, you know? And who knows? Maybe after I start, maybe I'll actually start feeling like going for longer. It's just I am in a weird mood. Yeah, well, either way. Wars occur when no one wants to. Nobody wants one. Same goes for fights. Not many people fight someone for fun. They often occur when a difference in opinion escalates into an argument. But the reason behind it is often a stupid one. An argy-bargy usually involves pushing your own values onto somebody else. You need to be eloquent enough to convince the other that you're right. But if they're still not convinced, you will still try to get them to yield or compromise. I like to think I'm pretty good at it. I'm not about to lose an argument to a mere lizard, at least. I can be very pushy, but I know when to give in on certain points, or I'll distract my opponent with some bollocks reasoning to catch them off guard. On the other hand, Yukikaze tends to give up the moment she realizes she can't win the argument. She pinched me in the face, so I wouldn't really mind, but the way she slaps me with the palm of her hand as if she's punishing a small child is extremely belittling. I wouldn't exactly call it violence, but she always does it with the kind of righteous indignation that just gets on my tits. I just want to kick her in the tail. You fool! What kind of lass lightly taps a man on the cheek when she's angry?
王族の尻に蹴りを放つアホよりはマシじゃ!
Not saying that you can't hit a man. I'm just saying that if you're gonna do it, you need to give him a proper whack!
よくぞほざいた。ならば渾身の一撃を見舞ってくれん!
Here comes Yukikaze's special technique, a right straight punch thrown while she twists her hip and shifts her weight onto her front foot. Not enough of a well-adjusted adult to admit that I'm at fault and beg her to lower her fist, nor can I bring myself to simply turn the other cheek. Don't underestimate me! When Yukikaze aims for my jaw in her attempt to knock some sense into me, I raise my fist and release a punch of my own, crossing with hers. The moment I realize I've landed my counter, Yukikaze's fist collides with my jaw as if her arm suddenly extended. Impossible!
バカはお前じゃ! よくも私の顔を殴ったな! 痛いのじゃ!
You're the one who started hitting me, so you don't have the right to complain when someone hits your back. You might be unassailable in the royal palace, but not here!
嫌いじゃ! お前なんか嫌いじゃ! 大嫌いじゃ!
But I'm done trying to curry favor with you lizard wankers!
おのれ! もう許さん!
When people let their blood rise to their head, they suddenly lose all of their cool. Unable to consider the future consequences of our actions, it's at times like these that disaster strikes. Now, what kind of disaster will Yukikaze get herself into? Something like this. That sounds about right. Oh, I accidentally still have the image slideshow open in the back. Something like that. Something like this. Even though the space we're currently occupying is nothing but cramped, in her dragon form, Yukikaze fills it up so tight that you can't move in any direction. You numpty, did you forget that we're inside the control room of the Alumilicon?
この
Stop flailing around. There's filings raining down from the ceilings. Are you trying to destroy the ship that Naga and her team worked so hard to restore?
足が変な方に曲がっていて痛いのじゃ。
Can't you just transform back?
それが脳この体勢ではちょっと尻尾も動かん。一郎そっちから引っ張ってはくれんか。
Well, you can't just transform without moving.
む
Oh!
何がおかしい。はよ手を貸さんか。
I'm not sure what to do with a clumsy lizard like this.
何をする気じゃ。こっちに来るでない。私に触れることを許さぬぞ。
Shut up, lizard!
こら鱗をむしるな。痛いではないか。
I'm just wondering where your buttons are. Maybe you'll become a bit more well-behaved if I remove them.
痛い痛い痛い。ちょやめんか。はげてしまうじゃろうが。
That's the point. I'm gonna make your scaly skin all soft and smooth like a boiled egg, so you'd better get big grateful.
いやじゃ。てるてるいやじゃ。
何の騒ぎであるか。
宗家助けるのじゃ。
これは。
If a third party interferes in a quarrel between a man and a woman, they tend to side with the woman first. That seems to be a universal truth, especially when the third party mediator is Salkin, Yukikaze's right-hand man. Because I'm up against the princess, I'll automatically be painted as the bad guy. I doubt he'll listen to me if I try to explain the reason for this fight. However, given that the reason is so idiotic, he just sighs in exasperation instead of getting angry.
何かと思えばバカバカしい。たかが昼食の肉の量ごときでそこまで大騒ぎせずともよろしかろうに。
くだらんとは何か。それに肉の量はきっかけに過ぎん。気に入らんのはこやつの態度じゃ。この世のすべては男が優先されて叱るべきとでも言わんばかりの態度が気に入らん。大体なんじゃ。大の男がちょっと頭をはたかれたぐらいでぐちゃぐちゃと。めめしいことこの上ないわ。
Sounds like you still don't understand. A last hit right on the head is just as bad as an insult as stepping on a samurai's sword. If this was my world, it would have been beheaded on the spot.
双方互いに言い分もありましょうが、今は味方同士で争う労力も惜しむ時であります。ここは互いに謝って終わればよろ。
冗談ではない。私は何も悪くなどないのじゃ。悪くない者が下げる頭など相手にも誠意を欠く失礼じゃ。
Sounds like you've never had to bow down to anyone in your whole life. You don't even know how to admit that you're at fault, do you? I understand that you're not in a position where you can easily admit your mistakes, but you should be aware that your haughtiness can be a real pain in the arse. It's about time you realize how many young lives are being lost in vain because you never know when to quit. It's part of the responsibility of a leader.
そんなことは言われずとも分かっておるわ。
姫様、お待ちください。どちらへ。
どこへ行こうと私の勝手じゃ。引き止めるでないわ。
Fine, I like you. Go sit in the corner and cut off your head.
貴様には言われとうないわ。
ご立腹しておられる割にやけにゆっくりと歩いておられる。引き止めて謝るなら今だぞ。
Not a bloody chance.
一郎よ。
I know, but there are some things I just can't make excuses for.
まあな、武士の刀の例えは私にも理解はできる。男が生涯を賭してかけたものを女がまたぐなどあってはならぬことだ。貴様の国では男が頭を殴られることは厳禁なのだろう。
Nah, not particularly, but when I was going through my flight training at Kasumigawara, I had one instructor who would whack me on the head with a baton over and over while sitting in the second seat. If he hit me on the right side, I'd have to veer to the right, and so on. If he hit me straight on top of my head, I'd have to do a loop. But the pain and frustration helped me make progress in my training. But when I hit somebody but when you hit somebody because you're overcome by emotion, you don't try to understand their pain. It makes you nothing but a fool. Some instructors were like that, but they were extremely excellent examples of how not to act. I vowed to myself that I would never become an instructor like that. I feel sorry for the citizens of a country ruled by a royal family with a princess like that, just putting all our vassals' hard work to waste without completely disconnecting us from the struggles of the common people. What's so funny?
いや、妙な話かもしれんが、少し安心したような気がしたのだ。姫様には姉妹はいるが、男の兄弟はいなかったものでな。ましてや王族の血筋だ。良き王族であり続けるための圧力もあれば、他者をおもんばかることを学ぶ暇もなかったであろう。私がもう少し若ければ、姫様と同じ視点で語り合い、噛みつき合うようにして加減を学ぶことも可能であっただろうが、こうも年が離れてしまえば孫も同然だ。それが姫様のためと分かってはいても、手を挙げるような真似はついぞできなんだとの反省もある。
You didn't try to foist it on me instead, though. I never signed up to be your personal tutor.
それは分かっておる。十分に反省もしておるし、感謝もしよう。だが一郎よ、お前が来てからというもの、姫様も少しずつ変わってきておられるのもまた事実だ。あの世間知らずのお姫様であった雪風様がさまざまな事柄において対局を見る目を持てるようになった。それは実にいい傾向であろ
う。What a perspective, you say. Not that I care about her or temper tantrums, but she hasn't grown up a bit if she thinks it's okay to leave without acknowledging you as the captain of the ship.
そうでもないぞ。すでに姫様からは艦長就任祝いの酒をありがたく頂戴しておる。
I didn't want to tell you this, but I actually ordered that wine in her name when I went out to town the other day.
であろうな。姫様にしては気が利きすぎると思っておったわ。
She told me that she had been incredibly confused when you thanked her, and that I shouldn't do things uncalled for ever again. That's how that fight started.
姫様に黙っておるからだ。
People shouldn't have to be told to express their gratitude. I thought I'd teach her that lesson by letting her experience the embarrassment of having someone thank her for something she should have done a long time ago. Are you taking the piss?
以前に確か貴様の国のことわざを聞いたな。
That friend and enemy often coincide in the same person. It's not really a saying, and I don't think it rings true in times of war.
似たような言葉が我が国にも古くからある。喧嘩をしない夫婦ほど早く離婚するというやつだ。
That's bollocks when I'm married, and I'd never marry a harpy like her.
おい、どこへ行く？
There's no reason for me to be here. Yukikaza's not
姫
about.
様に謝りに行くのか？
I don't have the time for that rubbish. I may be willing to bow down for the sake of civilians or my superiors, but I'm not bowed down for my own sake. That isn't part of an officer's job.
抜かすわ。
Allow me to say this on the Lizard's behalf. Sawkin, congratulations on your appointment as captain.
おう。
Even though I said I have no time, I had been planning a meeting with Yukikaze and the newly appointed crew members of the Alumilicon in the morning. As it appears to have been cancelled, there isn't much else for me to do today.
一郎さんではありませんか。
She's just fucking peeking out from behind the rock. She thinking she real sneaky. I fucking saw her instantly. Oh, Raya, what are you up to?
アルムアケイドの外装修復も大体終わってしまいまして、我々にできる仕事がなくなってしまったのですよ。
Anything that means you can get smashed in the early morning without a bloody care in the world?
何言ってんすか。本当だったら船体塗装作業がまだ残ってたんすよ。それをやらんでいいと言ったのは一郎さんじゃないですか。
I'd say that. Oh well, today the land forces are on leave too, so I guess it's fine. Don't drink too much, you hear.
一郎さんも一緒にどうでありますか。刺身がありますよ。
Second on sashimi, huh? Did you catch that fish today?
ネーレイスの連中からの差し入れです。 この辺で仕事をしているといつも海からひょっこりとやってきては
あいつらいいやつっすよね。みんなおっぱいでっかいし。
まあネーレイスには漁場のルールがあって、我々に好き勝手な場所で魚を取られては迷惑なのだそうで、それを嫌っての差し入れなのでしょうが。
お前はなんでいっつも物事を悪いように受け止めるんだ？素直に親切で魚を届けてくれると思えば美味しくいただけるだろうが。嫌だね、貴族ってやつは。
親切には必ず裏があることを忘れてはいつか痛い目に遭うという話だし、親切には感謝を忘れるなという戒めでもあるんだ。我がフレイムス家の家訓だ。
Like, I really have to stop myself from just like clicking, because that's how I went through Cold Steel! Because I know the story, so basically it's just a case of, okay, I finished reading the line, skip. I finished reading the line, skip. I finished reading the line, skip. And so on and so forth. Everything while doing it in turbo. Because I know the story of the first 3 games. Kinda. I'm missing maybe like an hour or 2. I'm personally guessing at least it's just an hour or 2 of the ending of the 3rd one. So that's that. Anyways, Rado, you have a point there.
それより見てくださいよ、この立派な魚。なんつったっけこれ。
セールフィッシュの一種ですね。竿で釣るのではなく罠漁で取るようで、大アサリの身にアミノ酸調味料をまぶして餌にすると面白いように罠にかかるそうです。
That is one huge arse, the red sail filefish. I reckon it's at least 60 centimeters long. I've never seen them this big, not even in the southern seas.
これがうまいんすわ。新鮮なうちに刺身にしてもらって肝醤油で食うと最高であります。キリッと冷やした辛口の酒にもよく合うっす。
Sashimi just doesn't taste right without soy sauce. I'm glad I asked the slop jockeys to make some.
もともと我々は海から離れて暮らしていた分、魚を生で食すことはあまりなかったですし、野戦ともなれば火を起こす時間も限られていて仕方がなく生で食べていたのですが、醤油ができてからはこれまで生魚を苦手としていた連中も好んで手を伸ばすようになりました。赤身の魚を生食すれば鱗が硬くなると軍医からも推奨されております。
うまきゃなんだっていいんだよ。身を切り落とした中骨は味噌汁の出汁にしてます。どこか味気なかった粉味噌のスープもこうして食えば最高であります。
I had the impression that your lizard eats nothing but meat, but you like fish too if it's seasoned properly, huh?
捉えようによっては嫌な言い方に聞こえてしまうかもしれませんが、一郎さんがこの世界に来てくれたおかげで随分と戦いやすくなりました。こういった食事の面での充実や兵の養蜂や新しい発想の兵器、それに周辺国に対する義理の通し方といった政治の面においても我々がいかに稚拙であったかと赤面の思いであります。
You guys is hearing all of that.
以前一郎さんのおっしゃっていたわーっと突っ込んでわちゃわちゃっと戦うだけでは戦争には勝てんというお話を最近になって深く理解する次第であります。
You're giving me too much credit. Remember what the role of the military is. They only did what was necessary.
そうはおっしゃいますけど、考えて答えを出せるやつばかりじゃないでありますよ。俺は頭あんま良くないですし、俺みたいに難しいことなんか考えたくないってやつの方が多いっす。
That's why I try to make my explanations as simple as possible, so that even blokes like you can understand them. As long as you've learned something, that you don't need to be ashamed of your past self. You can save the thinking for the evenings before you go to sleep. Ask yourself, why did I work hard? Did I work hard enough today? Am I, as a soldier, proud of my work? If the answer is no, then you'll just have to work harder the next day. If you can't motivate yourself to work for your own sake, then you just have to work for someone else. Pretty simple, don't you think?
そうだぞ。何も難しく考えることはないんだ。男の目標なんてものは単純なら単純な方がいい。その方がとっさの判断を迫られた時にあれこれと悩まずに動けるのだ。
いっつも余計なことをごちゃごちゃ考えてるお前がよく言うぜ。聞いてくださいよ、一郎さん。こいつ最近一郎さんの真似ばっかするんすよ。 すぐに影響受けやがって。
That's not necessarily a bad thing, but remember that I don't always make the best choices. If you always overthink everything, Align, then why don't you doubt me a bit more? If you always overthink everything, Align, then why don't you doubt me a bit more? I may talk like I know everything sometimes, but I doubt I'd be able to instantly say yes if anybody asked me if I were proud of my lifestyle. You need to question my methods and mull over my words before you can decide what kind of lifestyle suits you best.
はい、ありがとうございます。
I don't remember doing anything worth your gratitude.
あれ、一郎さん、行っちゃうんすか？
I was thinking of making the rounds and inspecting the troops. Can't stick around and get drunk with your mates.
でしたら、イリアのところにも顔を出してやっていただけませんか？あいつは今、警戒部隊で対空監視の仕事をしています。慣れない場で寂しい思いをしているかもしれません。
Iria, huh? How's he been doing?
はい。一郎さんのおかげでもう一度戦うことができると奮起しております。
エリアのところへ行くんでしたら、小魚の干物を持って行ってやってくれませんか？ずっと監視に張り付いてるんで、ろくなもん食ってないと思うんで。
Roger that. Iria is a member of the land forces who I assisted with his training before. He lost his right leg after stepping on a landmine in battle and was hospitalized for over 6 months. Normally, the heavily injured would be discharged from their duties, but he voluntarily reapplied and participated in my refresher training classes. You're looking rather chipper, Ilia!
一郎さん
There's no need to salute me. Stay on alert while you're on duty.
はしかしどうしたのでありますか？こんな山奥に。
Heard you were assigned sentry duty, so I came to see how you're doing.
恐縮であります。
Here's a little gift from your comrades in the land forces. It's dried fish. They were worried you weren't eating properly since you've been stationed here.
ありがとうございます。ですが飯はそうひどいものでもありません。最近では子供の輸送隊がよくバナナなどを届けてくれます。
What children?
はい。元は輸送困難地域に住む子供たちだったのですが、以前一郎さんの提案で物資の空輸をしたではありませんか。
Oh, I spot her again. She's behind the tree this time.
あれに助けられた村の子供たちが、今度は自分たちが食べ物を運ぶ番だと、輸送隊ごっこを始めたようです。
And Sarah Prue is sending children onto the battlefield.
自分たちの村を守るために、自分たちにできることを少しでもしたいのでしょう。出身の村をビスラに焼かれた私には、その気持ちが痛いほどわかります。自分にもできる仕事があるというのはとても大切なことです。足を負傷し、現場では使い物にならんと言われた私でも、こうしてまだやれる仕事があるのです。
That's the portable version of the Wyvern Troop anti-armor gun, Naga type hardware, isn't it?
そうです。こいつは蛍光型とはいえ、立ったまま撃つことが困難です。地面に深く打ち込んだアンカーに砲身を引っ掛けて使用します。であれば、車種も寝そべった体勢で使用することで、足は必要としないので、私にも十分運用が可能であります。
I received a report about your success. Is it true that you intercepted a hostile unit from the enemy's land forces before anybody else spotted them?
自分だけの手柄ではありません。この近辺には、私を含む12名からなる負傷竜兵が砲を構えて監視しております。互いに無線で連絡を取り合っているからこその成果であります。
Oh, they have a fucking sniper squad now.
負傷兵でも運用可能な対戦車砲に、伝令がなくとも連携が可能な無線機。どちらも一郎さんがもたらしてくれたものであります。
It's terrible to think that my actions have been responsible for forcing even the injured and disabled back onto the battlefield, though normally would have been relieved from your duties.
そんなことはありません。私のように戦場に出ることもできずにもやもやとしていた兵に新たな仕事が与えられたのです。感謝の気持ちでいっぱいであります。
Sometimes I'm struck by the beautiful sincerity and diligence with which young soldiers go to war. Why they're so desperate to fight, even if they're injured. There are various reasons. Some fight because they want to make themselves useful for the sake of their country, while others seek vengeance for their homes that have been destroyed. Such Iria also has his reasons why he can't back down. One day, when heading into battle, he was walking behind a more senior soldier from the same village that passed through the well-shelled minefield. Iria thought he would be safe as long as he was walking behind his senior. And then he stepped on a mine that his senior had completely overlooked, blowing his leg off. While he was hospitalized, he'd apparently said that nobody was at fault other than the war, but the senior soldier felt that it was his mistake, which had almost cost Iria his life, and begged him teary-eyed to forgive him.
私はどうしても戦場に戻らねばならなかったのです。自分はまだやれる。これぐらいなんてことないと、言葉ではなく行動で示す必要があったのです。そして戦えるようになったら、一人でも多くの命を救うと決めたのです。私の入室していた野戦病院を守るために、一歩も引かずに戦い、散っていった先輩のためにも。
Some may make fun of blokes like him for being simple-minded idiots, thinking that the war has made them go balmy. But people who criticize others like that aren't even trying to understand them, not even bothering to look at them. I'm sorry that you have to bear with these poor conditions out here in the mountains, but look in your eyes as one of a real soldier. I'm truly grateful for your service.
もともと私の家は山持ちの家系でありますれば、この程度の不便は慣れたものであります。それに僻地ではありますが、名護温泉もありますし、負傷兵には決して悪くはない認知ですよ。
Wait, where's that?
ご存知ありませんか？以前に名護さんがロゴーの燃料貯蔵庫を吹き飛ばしたではありませんか。あの爆発の衝撃で地下から温泉が噴き出したのです。気持ちがいいですよ。
Sounds great. I'll check it out sometime. I heard that Alumilican also has bathing facilities on board, but surely there's a limit to how much water it can carry. Besides, the prince says not many people get to enjoy the luxury of bathing in a tub filled up to the brim. The fact that 2 wash basins of fresh water per head can be distributed daily to the 600-man crew is already a luxury. People tend to get used to luxury, and it's hard to adjust to a more humble lifestyle when circumstances suddenly force you to practice moderation. But for people who never knew any luxury in the first place, those circumstances pose no issues whatsoever.
一郎さん、あなたはお腹が空いています。
You have no option. Okay, where is she? Where is she? Come on. Come on, I know she's somewhere. I know she's somewhere. Where'd you come from all of a sudden, and why did you just decide that I'm hungry?
ぜひお腹が空きましょう。いえ、空いてください。
Is that a formal request?
何も言わず、お腹が空きなさい。
Now you're ordering me?
うーん。
What are you thinking about? Ah, there we go! She's back there in the fucking bushes. Hey, where are you off
お
to?
や、一郎さんではありませんか。
Wait, are we redoing this conversation?
私にどうしろと。
That's my question.
私は、一郎さんに、ちょっと手料理などを食べて欲しかっただけなのです。
Oh, you could have just said so.
言ってませんでしたか。
I don't remember hearing it.
ちょいとお前さん、食べておきよ。
We have a barmaid that's trying to cheer me up.
一郎さんは、とてもめんどくさい人ですね。
I can say the same thing to you.
というわけで、七尾の手料理ですよ。
I really don't know how to read between... You really don't know how to read between the lines, do you? What I'm asking is, why is someone like you cooking?
実は私、こう見えて料理の腕というものに、ほんのわずかではありますが、軽微な問題を抱えているのです。
I feel like there are other problems you should be worrying about besides your cooking skills, but I'll shut my gob for now. So, you want me to eat this dog food of yours?
おっと旦那、こいつは話が早い。
Don't force me to do anything weird. Okay, too weird, okay? I'm a wyvern pilot, so I have to be conscious of my health.
大丈夫です。主計課糧食班の方に手伝っていただきました。死に至るような食材は使用していません。
Anything can be lethal if you use it
お
right
一つ。
or wrong. What is this? Dumpling soup or something?
さあ。
What?
料理の名前は知りません。とにかく、簡単で失敗しないものをということで、糧食班の方に教わったものです。
What are these white dumpling-like things?
白身魚のすり身と、小麦粉と米粉を水で練って丸めたものです。
Right, I would insist.
本当に食べた。
Or was it not supposed to eat
い
these?
え、私の作った料理を何の躊躇もなく口にされたので、少し驚いただけです。
Seems perfectly edible, but it's a bit bland. I'll probably get bored of it if I had to eat this every day.
やはり、実は私、タイでは恐怖のめしまず女として有名を馳せ、恐れられているのです。
Did you have to wait until after I started eating to tell me that?
最初に言ったら食べてくれないじゃないですか。タイの皆さんはもちろん、宗賢様も私の作った料理を食べてくれません。このままではいけないと、私も日々努力を怠らないのですが、一度ついてしまったイメージはなかなか払拭できず、ごく一部を除いて、誰も私の料理を食べてくれないのです。
I was surprised there were any at all.
陸戦隊の一部の方に、私の料理を喜んで食べてくれる方たちがいらっしゃるのですが。
奈良お醤油の料理はいつ食っても最高であります。
この世のものとは思えないうまさであります。生まれてきてよかったであります。
Okay, that's gone balmy.
こんなうまいものを食えて自分はもう思い残すことは。ああ、死んだ母が河原の向こうで私を呼んでいるであります。お母さん
といった感じで喜んで食べてくれるのですが、彼らは何というか上手。
Poor sods.
はい。
No, they must be very zealous. Soldiers who have been face to face with hell are often the strongest. I bet that they'll survive even the most grueling battles.
よくわかりませんが、とにかく私の料理に対して偏見がないであろう一郎さんから忌憚のないご意見をお聞かせいただきたいのです。
Right up, then I'll be frank. It's not bad, but it's not good either. It fills a hole when you're hungry, but that's about all there is to it.
一応一郎様のお好みに合わせたつもりなのですが。
Not sure which part of this is supposed to suit my tastes. It just tastes like bland dumpling soup with rubbery dumplings. What's this texture?
美味しいですか？
One of the dumplings seems to have an actual rubber band in it.
お好きかと。
Like hell I would! Well, as a military man, I'm used to eating bland rations, so I'm not the type to complain about the quality of food I'm served, but honestly, it is pretty bad. It makes me break into a cold sweat.
やっぱりダメですか？
Not saying that it's outright bad, but I agree that you could use some more practice. I'm sure you can improve if you work hard at it.
ですか。以前、宗賢様にも同じようなことを言われました。惜しい。実に惜しい。見た目もどこかぼんやりとしていて可愛いし、掃除も洗濯もできるし、経済関連がしっかりしていて、嫁には最適な女なのに。
Is that supposed to be a humble brag?
わかりました。また一から勉強し直します。
Whoops. Sure, why not? The ingredients were a little questionable, but the soup itself turned out pretty good.
そこは糧食班の方に手伝っていただいたので。
What did you make the stock out of?
オオトカゲです。
What do you mean those giant lizards?
はい。この先の湿地帯にマングローブの森があって。
I see. They eat lizards? Isn't that cannibalism? Not sure how to feel about this, but in principle I have nothing against eating lizards. When I was stationed in the southern islands, the army and the navy would have often exchanged food, and once I was served some incredibly delicious sashimi. When asked what it was made out of, I was told that it was lizard. I remember thinking that as long as it tasted good, I couldn't care less what it was. You're not even trying anymore. No, I worked up a good sweat even though I wasn't planning on exercising today.
おう、一郎。会議はもう終わったのか？
Due to some trouble, it got cancelled. I'm sorry for leaving you to look after the squad by yourself.
構わんさ。もともとは私の部隊だ。
I'll take over from here.
引き継ぐも何も、私は何もしてはおらんぞ。各自すでに要領は分かっておるだろうし、好きにやらせているだけだ。
Did you just leave them on their own devices?
何かまずかったか？
Still a big deal, but whenever I make them practice on their own, they always immediately start bollocking around. It's not necessarily a problem as long as they're getting along, but eventually either Fran or Carmine tend to get upset with something and start a dogfight over it. If it's Fran, Ellen will usually keep her in check, and if it's Carmine, Mori will play that role. But in the end, they all come home covered in scrapes, bruises, and soot.
それは私が指揮していた頃からそうだ。飛竜ってのは基本的にどいつもこいつも負けず嫌いで強情なもんだ。
I'm not sure if it's an issue with wyverns. Isn't it just lasses in general? Ever since joining the squadron, I've become painfully aware of how difficult they can be. Perseverance is key. As long as you understand that improvement takes time, you won't. As long as you understand that improvement takes time, you won't get impatient.
ウィース、姉さん、戻りました。
Yep, that's a lot of soot.
ご苦労。
We're just talking about how you guys would definitely come back covered in soot.
フランさんが悪いんですわ。新必殺技を試すとか言い出して、成功するまで何度も私に絡んでくるんですのよ。
What kind of attack?
イグジストの応用ですね。理論上は間違ってはいないんですけど。
What's an Ignist?
自分で吐いた火に飛び込んでドーンってやつ。
So anybody confident that they can give me a clearer explanation? I'm talking to you, Mori.
やっぱり私の仕事なんだ。熱境界線滑空でしたっけ？火の玉ではなく、炎を吐いてそこに飛び込むと、体の表面と大気の間に熱境界線が破壊されずに保持されて、普段より早く飛べるんです。
I'm not sure I understand, but it sounds similar to coating the outer shell of a torpedo in oxygen bubbles to increase its speed.
鱗のおかげで大して熱くはないですが、長時間使用すれば火傷もしますし、大気が希薄な高度ではあまり意味もないので、常用はしないのですが。
So you only use it when you really need to want to land a hit, I see. Using it over and over again burns you to crisp.
カーマインがロゴで逃げ回るから、それを捕まえるのに必要だったんだ。フランさんがムキになって追いかけてくるものだから、私もロゴを点火したままイグジストを使用するしかなくて。すごいんだよ。ロゴとイグジストを同時にやるとね、ドーンって音がす
るの。Really?
多分、音速を超えた時の衝撃波の音だと思います。
それが面白くて、何度も遊んでいるうちに真っ黒にというわけか。
決して遊んでいたわけではありませんわ。
Alright, I'm not gonna say anything this time, but from now on you're forbidden from doing such dangerous things when I'm not around. Do you understand?
はーい。
とにかくだ。全員風呂に入ってこい。そんな真っ黒では交差もできん。
こんな時間にですか？まだ夕食前ですよ。
On that case, just go to the Naga Hot Springs.
なんすかそれ。
聞いたことがあるな。先日の燃料庫爆発でできた温泉だったか？
According to the guys from the land forces, it's still a well-kept secret and does get many visitors. If you go now, you'll have it all to yourselves.
温泉か。悪くない。
Yes.
私も一湯いただくとしよう。一郎、貴様はどうする？特に用事がないのなら一緒に来い。部下と共に同じ湯に入るのは軍の伝統であり、隊の結束を固め、絆を育む意味もある。
I don't mind, but is it okay for a man to partake in your wyvern tradition? I wouldn't think so.
男だからとか女だからとか、そういった確執や偏見をなくすための裸の付き合いであろう。
It's true, but
マジっすか？ありえなくないっすか姉さん。
貴様は普段一郎に迷惑をかけまくっておるのだ。日頃のねぎらいを込めて上官の背中を流してやろうとは思わんのか？
Now, if there's no need to force her if she doesn't want to.
軍の伝統とはいえ、男の方はさすがにねえ。私は全然いいよ。そういうの得意だし。そりゃお前はそうだろうよ。偏見？元娼婦だから？そうじゃねえけど。
これは胸部整流装置の形状と大きさの問題というか。
You don't wear breastplates. There is no plating. At least right now.
私も構いませんよ。お屋敷にいた頃からお風呂ではまーちゃんのお世話をしてましたし。
それとこれとは話が違いましてよ。
エレンとモーリンは参加として、フランとカーマイン、貴様たちはどうする？半べそかきながら、すみません、できませんと負けを認めて頭を下げるなら、許してやるぞ。
はあ？負けとか意味わかんなくないやつじゃないっすか？負けてねえし、全然余裕のやつだし、なんなら軽く触らしてやってもいいぐらいのやつだし。
ほう、強気のやつだな。カーマイン、貴様はどうする？
はあ？カーマインは無理すっことねえんじゃん。所詮は貴族のお嬢様のやつだし、ここで負けを認めても誰も責めるやつじゃねえし、みんなが団結するって時にうざこいてたとしても仕方がねえやつだし、お荷物はお荷物、地雷は地雷。私はそのことであんたを責める気はねえよ。ただし、おめマジ次からでかい面すんじゃねえぞ。ちっと一郎に留守任されたぐれえでどやってんのが激ムカだっつの。今後は出しゃばって一番槍を持ってくような真似は遠慮してもらいたいね。
冗談じゃありませんわ。わかりましたわ。入りますわよ。お風呂ぐらい入ります。入ればいいのでしょ。入りますともいくらでも。
What a bunch of gormless lizards.
賢い飛竜を見たことがあるのか？
And so everybody was convinced to join this hot spring trip. The perfect opportunity to express our gratitude to each other for our daily labors. They say that it's a tradition in the military here, but in my world, or at the very least the Japanese Navy, it's rare for soldiers of different ranks to share the same bath. While camping out in the field, we would bathe in order, starting with those of the highest rank. It wasn't until after I had become a petty officer that I first got the opportunity to bathe in lukewarm water. Junior seamen couldn't complain about the temperature. You had to squeeze into the bathtub like sardines in a can, suffering the sensation of the grimy water while occasionally bumping into other blokes. Now, once you're an officer, you occasionally get invited by your superiors to go into town, eat and drink in the company of some fine ladies, and even go to the bathhouses to see our favorite masseuses. Yeah, I'm just, that's not what I wanted.
テキストの設定である。
Window opacity up. I'm just like, just to be safe. Like, it's nothing I should have to censor, but you know how I am. Actually, this does not work entirely just because of the buttocks. That's just off in the off to the fucking side down here. I do have to note this down though, so let's write down like 4320, I guess 4320. 0 4 3 20. Can't say I ever shared a bath with this many lasses at once, though.
いい湯だ。もう少し暑くても構わんがな。
暑すぎますわ。肌が真っ赤になってしまいます。
どうせ硫化すりゃ真っ赤なくせに、今さら何を気にしてんだか。
How about you actually get in a bath that's distracting when you're just sitting on the edge like
うっ
that?
せえな。暑いの嫌いなんだよ。つか、あんまこっち見んじゃねえよ。
メガネが。
So I just felt a very keen sense of camaraderie with Maureen.
一郎、お酒は？
How about a drink or 5? Thanks, it'd be a pain dealing with the consequences of any rash mistakes.
戦争に正しいも間違いもないのと同じで、男と女の関係に正しいも間違いもないんだよ。
それで何か深いことを言ったつもりか？つか、私の前でよく言ったな、それ。じゃねえよ。プープの前でよく言ったなっつってんの。
ちょっと何言ってんのかよくわかんない。
なんでだよ。
まあ、なんだ。こういう機会でもなければ言えんこともあるだろう。一人ずつ時間をやろう。一郎の背中を流してやれ。
本当にやりますの？
嫌なら嫌で構わんと言ったはずだが。カーマイン家の赤い鱗は勇猛の証。ここまで来て尻込みするわ。敵前逃亡も同じ。
That is a...
仮面に泥を塗る気か？
That is quite a harsh way of putting that.
ヘタレはヘタレ。私はそのことであんたを責めないぜ。
Imagine the amount of fucking like, actually, hold on. I think it's actually possible for me to... I could actually just use this as the thumbnail. Because I can't just put up more steam. You know what? Fuck it. Why shouldn't I? Tell me that.
Yoshi, フラン。ではまず、貴様が手本を見せてやれ。
あっしっすか？
お前のこだわる一番槍だ。かかれ！
いや、かかれとか言われても困るやつじゃん。あ
一郎さん、フランさんがお背中を流してくださるそうですわよ。
Really? Thanks.
マジか。つか、あんたもなんでそんな平然としてんだよ。
If I were to get all flustered in a situation like this, I would end up being called a loser. That's not the Navy way.
というわけだ。ビビってるのはお前だけだぞ、フラン。
はあ？ビビってねえし、全然余裕のやつだし。
There's no need to shout. I can hear you just fine.
背中流せばいいんだろ？たく、なんだって私がこんなこと。
You can rub a little harder.
こんなことすんの初めてだし、加減なんてわかんねえよ。
Have you ever washed your father's back?
知ってるだろ？私には父親なんていないのも同じだよ。まあさ、あんたのおかげってわけでもないんだろうけど、最近は私をプープだってバカにしてた連中の見る目が変わってきたような気がする。
The environment in which you were born doesn't matter as long as you work hard enough. Nobody will make fun of you.
あんたさ、私のことをバカにしてた連中を叱ったんだろ？
I just gave him a warning for mocking my subordinate. The army doesn't need people to take the piss out of the hard work of others. What we really need is people get inspired and motivated to do the same when they see somebody working hard. And you're working hard, so don't be ashamed of yourself.
そうだな。頑張るって口で言ってるだけじゃダメなんだよな。それをこの前の高高度迎撃で思い知ったっていうか。
You have many shortcomings, but there's no... You have many shortcomings, but there's no point in trying to improve them all at once. The best way to improve is to start by honing one of your skills. Your aptitude for ultra-high altitude flight far exceeds the others. That's a skill you'll be able to improve in no time. You can focus on other things later.
そうすれば、生きていくコツっていうか、今まで苦労していたことがいろいろと違って見えてくるようになるって、あんた言ってたよな。確かに、最近の私は少し変わってきてるのかもしれない。だからこんなことを言うわけじゃないけど、一応言っておく。あんたにはマジで感謝してる。ありがとう。
Ow! That hurts. I may be pretty strong, but it still hurts my skin when you scrub that hard.
うるせえよ、バーカ！恥ずかしいこと言わせんなよ！やっぱこの私が感謝とかありえねえし！
はい、じゃあ交代。
There comes Maureen.
つか、早くね？
あまり乗り気ではなかったようですし、早めに変わった方がいいかなと。名残惜しいようでしたらもう少し。
Oh, she looks so fucking smug there.
いいよ、交代で。別にあっし好きでやってるわけじゃねえし、全然気にしてないやつだし。
はい。というわけで、私の番ですよ。髪を洗いますね。
I don't mind, but my hair's so short that there's not much to wash.
それでも随分と伸びましたね、髪。
Yeah, I haven't had a haircut ever since I came to this world.
今度は私が切りましょうか？
Do you have any experience as a barber?
ありますよ。私はカーマイン家の使用人なので、その手のお世話には慣れてるんです。まーちゃんの髪だって、いつも私が切っていますし。
I've been working for them for a long time.
そうですね。幼い頃からですし、もう随分と長いことお世話になっています。と言っても、最初はまーちゃんの使用人ではなくて、ベル様の使用人だったんですけどね。
What's that?
ベル様というのは、まーちゃんのお姉様のことです。ベリルベリー様です。
Oh, now I remember.
ご存知なのですか？
She talked to me for a bit at the banquet for Barou's supporters that was held a while ago.
もう、隅に避けませんね、一郎さん。ダメですよ。ベル様には婚約者がいらっしゃるのですから。寝取ってはダメです。
I've been meaning to tell you this, but I think you might have the wrong idea about me.
いえ、でもベル様がご結婚されてから、三者合意の上であれば。
Do you want me to do such dirty things? Oh no, she's into it. I don't know what it is you're imagining right now, but whatever it is, make sure it doesn't come out of your mouth.
口に出すのはセーフですかね。
Okay, hold on. God fucking damn it. Don't ask me that! Stop giggling like a teenage girl.
あれ？
What now?
あ、いえ、頭の後ろのところに何か傷跡でしょうか？
Yeah, that, it's the scar I got when I came to this world. I was already there when I woke up in the desert. There seemed to be a shard or something stuck in my wound, but since it can be dangerous to try and treat head wounds yourself, I just left it there. Then it turned into a scar.
痛くはないのですか？
Not particularly, but it feels like the lump's getting smaller too.
小さくなったというよりは、体内に食い込んでいっているのでは？取った方が良くないですかね？
Nah, I'll leave it until the war's over. One of my mates had surgery to remove a bomb fragment next to his nose, and then he completely lost his eyesight. Can't afford to lose any of my senses right now.
でも、
Enough about my scar. Isn't there anything else you want to talk about?
他のと言われましても。
Do you know how your family back the country is doing?
はい。おかげさまで、父も母も弟たちも田舎で元気に暮らしています。
I think of it, you've never told me about your family before. They are farmers, right? You received a huge box of oranges from them before, didn't you?
はい。私の両親と弟たちは、カーマイン家の所有するオレンジ農園で働かせていただいています。
I'm glad to hear that they're doing well. You haven't seen them in a long time, have you? You should take leave to go and visit them sometime. What's wrong?
実は、家族には軍を辞めて帰ってこいと言われています。カーマイン家の使用人だからといって、戦場にまでついていくことはないと。代々カーマイン家に仕えてきたとはいえ、私の家はやり持ちの家ではなく農家です。でも、まーちゃんは私がいないとダメな子なんです。
No, this kind of thing happens between you lasses as well, but Mori, are you sure you and Carmine don't consider each other friends rather than master and servant? Isn't that why you prefer to stay with her? Your friend goes to war and you want to walk side by side with her, isn't that right?
私はエルマールマ・カーマイン様の使用人です。友などと口にすることは大それたことです。そ それではまるで私はまーちゃんのために戦場に来ていると言わんばかりです。それは主に背負わせてはならない重荷というものでしょう。私は私の意志でここにいると決めたのです。
Supporting a country to farming is also a valid choice. The country is made up of soil and water after all. And maybe protecting the country by fighting. But fighting isn't the only way.
意地悪なことを言いますね。私は決めたと言ったじゃないですか。
But you mostly said that to me because you're trying to convince yourself, didn't you?
迷ってはいますよ。でも私は嫌なんです。私の知らないところで私の大好きな人が死ぬのは。
Righto. You understand the grief of people who send off their loved ones in the battle only for them to never return. You tend to feel like it would have been better if they had come along so they could have fought together. Deep thoughts like this would have been beyond my comprehension when I was just a little kid, but I'm sure the same goes for you.
まーちゃんを連れて田舎に帰ろうかとも考えたのですが、あの子も強情というか、言い出したら聞かないところもありまして、一郎さんが私の代わりにまーちゃんを守ってくれるのなら喜んで帰るんですけどね。
Think before you speak. This Carmine we're talking about, no doubt she'll insist she doesn't need my protection.
さーて、それはどうでしょう。
What am I supposed to infer from that intonation?
もういっそまーちゃんと結婚してカーマイン家に婿入りしてはいかがです？
Well, how about this idea? How would that solve anything?
まーちゃんと結婚すれば漏れなく私もついてきますよ。
Ah, Maureen's over here like, listen up, marry Carmine and you get a 2-for-1 deal. I'm pretty good at the sack as well. Absolutely not. Why do you birds always steer the conversation in that direction?
それは偏見では？
Why don't you try and understand the position I'm in? I can't just say yes or no without any serious consequences.
育児なし。
The only time I'm not a coward is in battle. There's no point in trying to act tough anywhere else.
もう。
Enough from you. Next.
わかりました。では次はまーちゃんを。
Like, why is the entire Wyvern squad just like the best fucking characters?
私ですの？私の番ですのね。
頑張ってね、まーちゃん。ピクピク動いてもびっくりしないでね。
何がですの？何か動くんですの？
Now mind that, just come here. I understand that communication within a squadron is important, but it's getting slightly ridiculous.
では、参りますわよ。
That's a tough run, the same thing, but there's no need to put so much power into it. If you lizard women went all out, you'd end up stripping off my skin and making me a size smaller.
そんなに強くはしませんわよ。これぐらいですの？
Yeah, that feels right.
まったく、お父様の背中も流したことがないと言いますのに。
Usually have people watch you instead.
そうですわね。お城にいた時は必ず岩見府と共に入浴していましたし。
Had servants whose sole job it was to look after the bath.
使用人を使うことは贅沢ではありませんわ。民を雇用することで仕事を与えているのですから。それが貴族の役目なのでしてよ。
Not criticizing you, I'm sure many are able to support their families by working at your castle. Morty's family is one such example, isn't it?
そうですわね。ローレット家はカーマイン家の庭師や農夫として代々仕えてくれている家系ですわ。カーマイン家が軍人の家系として名を馳せ始めた頃から6世代にもわたって仕えてくれているのですから、もう家族のようなものですわね。
Family, huh? What's your family up to right now, by the way? I haven't seen them since the banquet.
私の家族は、その...
What's wrong? Did something happen to them?
いえ、そういうわけではないのですけれど、なんと言いますか。
What? You don't have to mince words with me.
私の家では すでに一郎さんが婿に来るものだと決めつけている風潮が蔓延しているとでも言いましょうか。
Ozana can't hear you!
ですから、私と一郎さんが結婚すると勘違いしてますのよ。
How the bloody hell did they ever come to that conclusion?
勝手に決めてるんですのよ。私も一郎さんもそんなつもりは毛頭ないと何度も説明しましたのに。
Did you also tell them enough from this world?
しましたわよ。それにこう言ってはなんですけれど、家族の前で一郎さんを褒めるような言葉はそういう問題ではありませんわよ。
とにかく交代。このままだと私が洗う場所なくなっちゃうよ。
わかりましたわよ。交代すればいいのでしょ。交代すれば。
いた。いた。なんで私の手を叩くの？
Because it keeps drifting towards my crotch. Let me ask you instead. Why do you keep trying to touch me there?
そこにチップがあるから？
What exactly do you expect me to say to that? Righto! Go ahead!
いない。おでこは叩いちゃダメ。悪い頭がますます悪くなるよ。
I'm getting the feeling that you get too friendly with people sometimes. You used to be really shy when we first met.
一郎は大丈夫。
I haven't got the foggiest what you mean.
一郎は大丈夫。
I heard what you said. There's no need for you to repeat it.
私の将来が心配？
You're giving it some serious thought, are you?
一応ね。考えてはいるよ。でも、まだどうなるかわからないし、戦争で死んじゃうかもしれないよね。
That's why we're working so hard every day, aren't you? To prevent that from happening.
ねえ、一郎。 戦争が終わったら一緒に暮らそう
Please give me a yes option. I want to click the yes option. Like you just said, stop touching my bollocks. I've told you this again and again. I'm going back to my own world once the war here is over.
うん、知ってる。だから、一郎の国の戦争が終わったらでいいよ。私、待ってるから。
But I'm going to...
ずっと待ってるから。一郎、勝手に死んだら、ダメ。
Why can I not have an Ellen route? I demand an Ellen route! Not. You're being unusually demanding today.
私だって、言うときは言うよ。わかった？
Like, she acts kind of like wishy-washy, airheaded at the time, but, like, you can see that she is still very nice, very nice and serious lass when it comes to it. I should have replied to that.
手の中でピクってした。これって了承ってこと？
You really are a daft broad. There's so much to teach you that it gives me a headache wondering where to start. It's not a compliment. Let go of me before things get out of hand. The bonds between soldiers that are formed on a battlefield can sometimes be stronger than those between family. When a bond between men reaches a certain level of depth and understanding, they need to talk about unnecessary things disappears. Just by showing a look, we can convey more than any words ever could. But when a woman is a wolf, that's impossible. When I'm under the impression that we've reached a deep level of mutual understanding, the amount of needless chit-chat only increases. Sometimes what I'm trying to say doesn't get across at all. What I'm basically trying to say is that I'm absolutely buggered.
男が相手ならこうはならないというわけか？そんなものは宿題を犬に食われましたと同じぐらい子供じみた言い訳だ。
So now he's bitching to Petra about it.
でかい顔して俺が教育してやると息巻いていた勢いはどこへ行った？泣き言なんざらしくもない。
I know that, but nah, maybe I don't know anything. Never even imagined that fellow members of an air force could be so different.
男女の向かう明日には数えきれない嵐が待ち受けていると言ってたな。昔から男が思うほど女は簡単ではないのだよ。ましてや飛竜の女ともなれば力ずくというわけにもいかん。硫化されてしまえば大の男でも歯が立たんからな。
I've heard that the countries with the strongest women have a higher chance of winning wars, but I don't think it's that big of a factor if you consider a country's amount of resources or their technology first.
だから私もこうしてしたくもない勉強をしているのではないか。
What have you been reading so avidly lately?
宗賢様から何も聞いてはおらんのか？私は近日飛竜隊の隊長からアルムアケイドのソーダ長に正式に干されることになった。
No, I've never heard of this.
飛べぬ飛竜がいつまでも隊長の椅子を磨いておるわけにもいくまい。ならば幾分かでも立体軌道に馴染みのある分ソーダ師をやってみろということなのだろう。
Was it Nago who wrote the ship's handbook? I had a look at it myself the other day and just looking at it made my eyes tired.
それが何であろうと新しいことを始めるのは大変だ。日々少しずつ慣れていくしかあるまい。だが慣れてしまえばどうということはない。新しく得た知識と価値観はこれまでの自分を変える。必ず必要だと思っていたことすらどうでもよくなってくる。この世界になくてはならないものなどないのだと思えばどこへでも行ける。何でもできる。どこででも生きていけるやつとそうでないやつ。
What are you trying to say?
一郎よ、お前もこの世界で もう新しい価値観を手に入れたのではないか？
You're starting to ask me this crap.
私も女だからな。過去や物に固執するのは女の特権のようなものだ。
And then the other way around, I thought women were the quickest to throw away that past, forget all of the ups and downs, and make a fresh start on new ground. In that sense, men who can't do that are bigger softies than most women. Even if a storm soaks you to the bone, you'll dry up again if you step into the sun. If I were to disappear, the lasses in our squad will be able to reminisce about me with a smile within a year or so.
お前の国の女がどうかは知らんが、少なくとも竜族の女はしつこいぞ。断言しよう。お前はいつか女のしつこさで途方に暮れることになる。
There's no reason for you to grieve if I were to die. What?
それを部下の前で口にしたら許さんぞ。
And oh, I was just taking advantage of the fact that I'm talking to a subordinate right now.
特に姫様の前では絶対に口にするな。
Why not?
分かってはいると思うが、部下の死にはあの方が一番敏感なのだ。
Sure she is.
勇気が欲しければいつでも来い。私がお前をこの世に強く結びつけてやる。
No thought I'd hear that from you.
温泉で気が緩んでいるのかもしれんな。普段は口にしないこともつい口にしてしまう。忘れてくれて構わん。
I just say that I appreciate the gesture. It's part of an officer's job to be considerate not only to their subordinates, but also to their superiors. I thought pilots still had it relatively easy because they can escape to the sky. But in your weapons system officer or navigator as your superior, there is no escape. Besides, it's foolish to bring any grudges or ill will with you into the air, so it's better to resolve any personal issues beforehand. I'm gonna end it here. Like that was a nice little situation. Nice little character building for all the, like, what was it, 48th squad? I don't fucking remember. But it was nice team building, character building, and it just makes me want to have routes for all these lasses even more. Especially Petra and Ellen. Actually, add Maureen to the mix. Just give me routes for this thing. Just do it. Don't fucking question me. Just fucking do it. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. Just want to see you next time. Bye.